Welcome back to the Kerbal Space Program. In our last episode, we launched our second mission to Lathe, the one that will eventually rescue Jebediah or Bill or Bob, I don't remember. And we managed to complete our orbital rendezvous of 2 parts of our mission. And now we are going to go and launch it into interplanetary space on the trajectory to intercept Joule. First we're going to set the transfer window, and then we are going to do our normal transfer. I'm going to skip the part where we wait for the transfer window, and here we are. The planets are aligned. Let's create a maneuver node and shoot into the interplanetary trajectory. Here's our maneuver node, just increasing, and oop! On our first attempt we have an encounter with Joule, and just some little tweaks will put it where we want it to be. Awesome! Things never went as smooth. And here's our setup maneuver node. We are just time warping closer to it, and we're going to start the burn now. And you can see that it will take quite some time, so I'm just going to cut this and I'll see you closer to the Joule encounter. And here we are. Our correction maneuver is ready, and we're just waiting for it to be closer to us, or us being closer to it. It doesn't really matter how you say it. And yeah, it takes some time, so in between we decided to do some little signs. And here we are. We are very close to the maneuver node. Let's just do tiny burns to get where we want to be. Not only we have a Joule encounter, we have also a Lathe encounter. Something we were actually expecting. And here we go. Our one of the final course corrections before Lathe encounter. Our burn is ready. Our ship is almost uncontrollable because it's too heavy. It doesn't have enough reaction wheels. It doesn't have enough of anything, really. Here we go. Our periapsis is where we want it to be, and we'll spend the last drops of the fuel in the orange tank. So we're just going to decouple it and leave it behind. And now we just have to wait and do some additional fuel management. What we're going to do is we're going to transfer the fuel from all 2 sides to the center tanks, and then we're going to leave the side tanks behind too. Here we go, transferring our fuel to the 6 tanks in the middle. And we're going to decouple them because we don't really need them, and we won't be able to land with them because they're too long. As always, we're going to use error capture maneuver to get our ship in orbit of Lathe, and we're not going to spend our fuel on it because fuel is something we have in a limited supply. So we're going to make sure that our periapsis is approximately 17.5 kilometers, and then we're just going to warp to it. Let's turn retrograde although it doesn't really change anything in this situation, but we are just going to do it just in case. And here we are burning in the atmosphere of Lathe and burning off our velocity. We end in almost perfect orbit. It's 400 kilometers periapsis, apoapsis, and now we're just going to change our periapsis to make sure that we don't burn in the atmosphere and don't crash down. And now our goal is to aerobrake enough so that we are in more circular orbit around the Lathe and not in such eccentric orbit as we have right now. So we're going to lower our periapsis low enough into the atmosphere so that we lower our apoapsis to approximately 100 kilometers, but not low enough so that we crash down, because we really need some kind of controlled descent here. During our maneuver, things of course went bad, and we'll have to spend some of the fuel to correct our trajectory and to make sure that we don't crash down into the Lathe. Here we go. We have to spend some amount of fuel to rise our peri and apoapsis above the atmosphere of Lathe, but it's not too much and something we can actually do without much of a problem, and it will not cause us any trouble. That was way too many words. Our next order of business is to actually land, and land hopefully somewhere close to our first ship. So we are lowering our orbit, making sure that we are going to end up somewhere close by. Our chutes are deployed, our speed is falling, everything seems to be in order, and at this point a lot of my attempts failed. The ship just wouldn't stay still once landed. It always wants to tip over. It just goes to the left, to the right, or in any other direction. It just doesn't want to stay still, just as you will see in this example. It doesn't matter if it falls down at high velocity or if it lands perfectly still at approximately 0.5 meters per second. Nope. It just doesn't matter. After many tries, this one is the best landing I could achieve. In the end, for some reason, the ship will half sink into the ground, and it will be very, very hard to do anything, especially takeoff. But what is more important, and this is the part I really missed during the creation of the ship, and it's the part that actually screws up the whole mission, is that it's impossible to get back into the ship. It's absolutely impossible for Kerbal to leave the ship on the EVA, go to the surface, and to get back into it. You will see now why. First problem is that Kerbals can't transfer from the vertical to horizontal stairs. The angle is just too steep. And the second problem is because the Decouplers are blocking the way. And here we go. Nope, can't go further. It is truly sad day for the Kerbal Space Program. Now we have 2 carbonauts stranded on the surface of Leith. Would have to think of something new and more innovative to save them. But for now, we're going to end this episode. During the preparation to the next episode, I'm going to transfer all the science which I can from this vessel to the Kerbin and use it to unlock some of new parts which might help us in rescuing Jebediah and Bob. Thank you all for watching. Remember to like, dislike and comment this video. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next episode.